You're going to use my pujas for tens of hundreds of thousands of years to better understand the teachings because they're so in a state of enlightenment. Yeah. Even though at the time when I did them, yeah, in the time, when I was 40 years old and it was 1991, and I had the opportunity, I only had 1 week to lay down all these tracks in a professional studio in Lahaina, in Maui, and I had that opportunity. I had the money in hand. I got all the bowls and everything I needed, all my instruments, which I had never physically played before, and gathered everything and put my pyramid in there and sat down and wrote up all my pujas, put them on pieces of paper in front of me, just like I do when I do soul therapy for people. So all I did was that I reenacted soul therapy that I do when I do it with people. When they came for my soul therapy, I put them in a pyramid and I do these pujas. I read off my pujas, I play my bells and bowls, and I'd heal them, and I'd invoke angels, and I'd bring out all this change. So that all was put into CD form, able for you to receive soul therapy and for the pujas to be actually put on CD. But I only had 7 days to do that in. And every time I finished a track, there was a witch standing outside ready to slap me in the face, push me around, and treat me like shit. And there was nothing I could do about it. I could just stand there and take the slap, stand there and take the conflict, stand there and take the words, and then say, okay, I think it's time for me to go back in there and do another track, because I can't hear anything from in there. I'm fine. I just sit there and it's all silent, and it's only me and what I'm doing and my headset. So I continued doing that, but every time I finished a track and I'd walk out to listen to it with everybody else, there'd be this witch standing out there ready to just beat the shit out of me the moment I stepped out the door. And it happened every time. So it's not like I'm sitting in a place of fanfare and support and anything like that. I had no other people playing instruments. The person that was at the board doing the recording, he was going crazy because I couldn't tell him how long I was going to record or what I was going to record on because I had no idea. It was all spontaneous. But we set it up to where try this, listen to this one. I'll try only play these 3 bowls and this drum, and that's it for right now. So we get it all set up. He would start to calm down. But the time I got to the 3rd day, everything burnt out in the unit, in the recording unit. It was gone. It was over with. They couldn't use it anymore. So we had to call an engineer in. They came in, checked it out, got it fixed, and all under warranty. So everything worked out fine, and they gave me those days extra, a total of 7 days again, and so I was able to finish off all the things that you listened to were done in those 7 days, all the foundation tracks and everything. A lot of the vocals I did later in London in another studio, but every single thing done with instruments was done in that studio, and it was done with warfare going on around me at the same time. And at the same time, I was not eating or sleeping, and I was meditating 24 hours a day at night. I would meditate because there was a war in Iraq, a 90-day war, and I had to end it because we were going to go into a really bad nuclear process, and it was going to well up into something very bad. Like either it was going to be nuclear or it was going to be different types of anthrax or other things of product that is made in Iraq and Iran that they would like to disperse, which they do commonly. All these viruses and things like that, which is what they did all throughout Iraq. You'd find villages everywhere, people dead, by being hit by these viruses, as viral warfare. So that was on my mind. That's where my intention was at, the reason why I did the pujas, because I didn't think you all had much to go for. Things were going to go down fast. So I had to spend All 7 days sitting there in puja, not eating, in meditation, and doing these ceremonial pujas. And when I started, I put a note on my seat when I sat down to meditate for the first time on the first day of the war. I set it out to be a 90-day war, and I would carry this meditation out for 90 days. And at the end of that 90-day, the war ended. They closed it off. It was our shortest war we ever had. Yeah, a 90-day war. Yeah, and that's because of what I did and the effects of how that affected. We had more things I'd tell you about. It's quite a story. They should make movies over my day-to-day reality. Yeah, But in this situation of putting these pujas out, they were under the central core of the astral plane, of the delusions of glamour and everything. Some of the worst witches and warlocks were surrounding me. And at the same time, I had extraterrestrial processes going on. I had demons from everywhere, literally on the island at the time. I had people dressed up, men dressed up as women, who was a manifestation of Arhaman, who I had to overthrow. And all this is being done over that short cycle of time while I'm making these pujas. So you may have in your mind, these would be the proper way to do this, like make the puja, celebrate after making the tracks, have a good day, be ready for the next day, rest well, have a nice breakfast, get up, go to the studio, do your work, 8 hours of work, get off, go out, celebrate, have a good time, wake up in the morning, go back and do it. No. Not one day, not 1 minute, not a meal, not a happy moment, not a smile, nothing. All I had was demons 24/7 coming at me, that I had to stand up against and talk to and revolt against and stop, from their future processes that they were carrying out. And it worked.